Hey folks, this is Billy DKY, the true secret that simplifies and demystifies. This is UFC 100 post-fight analysis. We'll start out the first fight of the night. I may get the name wrong. Yoshihiro, the guy from, I don't think it was Japan or either North Korea or something like that. You know, they kept talking about it's controversial. I didn't see nothing controversial about it. I think the guy won fair and square. So that's enough of that. Fight number 2, Dan Henderson. Man, all I can say is wow. Dan Henderson rocked Bisping. I thought that could happen. I knew it could happen. I just didn't expect it. I thought Bisping was outclassed before it even started. I thought that, but wow, man. Telling you what, don't be underestimating older people, man. You're getting knocked out. I guess he shut Bisping up at least for a minute there because he's unconscious. But anyway, fight 3. St. Pierre. It's a good fight. It's a typical GSP fight. Lay on them, pound them, blah blah blah. Sort of becomes boring after 3 rounds. You know, you're like, oh, come on, man, submit him. If you're on the ground, just don't lay there and just win out of decision. Submit him. Put the guy out. Here's what I come to realize though. As I was watching the fight, Alves really didn't lose because he wasn't a better fighter. He lost because his strategy was bad. If Alves would have took a different approach to that fight instead of wanting to strike, if he would have took the approach that he was going to lay and prey on George St. Pierre, he could have done that to him too. It's like, who's going to take who down first and lay on him? So I think if Alves ever fights him again, what he should do is just have a total plan of taking GSP down, not worrying about striking, lay on him, pound him on the ground. Then maybe if he tires GSP out while he's down, you know, after he wears him out on the ground and gets up, then maybe start striking. But you can't strike with him because he's going to take you down. So I think if Alves fights him again, that's what he should do. And I think his results, he'd have a solid chance of winning against GSP if he has a better strategy. You got to abandon. You love to strike, that's fine, but you know, if the guy you're fighting is going to point you out and win you, you know, then you need to think smarter and point him out too. Okay, because I mean Alves did a pretty good job, but anyway, let's see what else I got to say on that. Let's see, blah blah blah. Like I say, it's getting sort of boring. And notice too, when GSP was on bottom, that's when he got that injury, that hamstring injury or whatever. So I mean, and GSP really didn't have no answers from the bottom, so you don't really have to worry about, if you can get him down, which that's a big question, you don't really have to worry about anything. Okay, GSP will not move up to 185. That's my prediction, because basically he'll get his ass kicked. I mean, I'm convinced of that. He'll get his ass kicked if he goes up to 185. Can you imagine, and think in your mind, can you imagine St. Pierre beating Dan Henderson? I can't. There's no way in the world I can imagine whipping him. I think Dan Henderson can outstrike him, hit him harder, and I don't think he's not gonna out wrestle Dan Henderson. It just ain't gonna happen. Not to mention Anderson Silva and the other guys at 185. So he ain't going there. I doubt it. And if you really looked at his eyes, I'm not talking about being banged up, but just look at his spirit about it. He had no desire to move up to 185. That's other people wanting him to move up and do things. He don't need to go there. Okay, St. Pierre's big strength at 170 is his ability to wrestle and his endurance. At 185, he's not going to have that advantage anymore. He's going to have to be winning on other things like jiu-jitsu and striking, because that's going to be nullified at 185. And let's just face it like it is. Anderson Silva's the man at 185, and he ain't going to outstrike him. I mean, I've seen him. He ain't going to do it. It just ain't going to happen. If he goes to 185, he's a fool, which I don't think the guy's a fool. I think he's very smart, very intelligent. I mean, he showed it by his ability to learn English in a very short period of time while he's still doing his MMA stuff. So, no, he's not going to do it. He knows it. And if he does do it, he's going to have to gain a lot of muscle. And I don't think he needs to do it. I think he needs to stay at 185 and just stay the man at 185. I mean, he needs to stay at 170 and be the man at 170 and leave 185 alone. Don't let other people talk you into doing stupid stuff. Because if he goes to 185, he's going to get more injuries. And that leads into my second point. George is starting to get a little age on him. I ain't saying he's old. but you're gonna start seeing he's getting more injuries. But like I said, he ain't going to 185. Forget about that. Okay, well, let's go to the next fight. Brock Lesnar and Frank Mir. Wow, I thought that's what Brock Lesnar said he was going to do. Basically, keep his chest on chest, keep the pressure on him so he couldn't move the hips, and basically nullify the jiu-jitsu of Mir. And he fought a really smart fight by not getting emotional and rushing things like he normally did. He had a game plan. He was smart about it. And I really didn't expect him to just hold that head like that, but hold it and just pound him. I mean, that was pretty impressive, really. But that's not really the big issue about this. I mean, it was a good performance by Brock Lesnar. However, all of you have watched it know what happened. I mean, you beat a man down. You've already humbled him. There's no use going talking, excuse my language, shit to him afterwards. It's bad sports. And you see Joe Rogan. Nobody really liked it at all. And here's my pass on some wisdom to Brock Lesnar. You got two choices in life. You can either humble yourself or you'll be humbled. And it's a lot easier if you humble yourself. Learn some humility, because I'm telling you, it's coming. It may not ever happen in the ring, but it will come somewhere in life. It'll come to you. Like I said, it's a lot easier humbling yourself than having other people or nature or whatever, God, if you will, humbling you. Because it will happen. It's just a fundamental property of life. It's a fundamental pattern of life. It's unavoidable. So anyway, I tell you what, man, it's unbelievable how bad his attitude is. I mean, I said it before the fight in my pre-fight message, but wow, he really showed his ass last night, man. He really needs to change his ways, or it's not gonna be pretty. And I ain't gonna talk about the Fitch fight. I mean, it wasn't that exciting to me. Anyway, I just want to throw some comments out there. Later, folks.